in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again another day, committed to being your consumer advocate. It's all about helping you understand your buying decisions, making you just a bit more street smart here. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, your local real estate economist of choice, based right here in Tampa Bay. Want to help you win in any marketplace. And when we talk about, our expert contributors, our panel that we bring on, we've got 80 different categories, 50 plus show partners that take time out of their busy schedules and serve as a consumer advocate. So we'd love for you to reach out and engage with us. Any questions you have, it's an off-air number, 813-670-7372. Call or text that line at 813-670-7372. And make sure you check out our website, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available on our website at consumerqb.com. And we want to thank our sponsors for this segment, Two Maids and a Mop, right here based in Clearwater. And they do a great job cleaning residential properties. Two Maids and a Mop. Reach out and speak with Tabitha. Now, let her know that the real estate quarterback sent you, and take them up on some special offers and incentives. They just did a great deep cleaning on our home, and they are highly recommended from our team at the Consumer Quarterback Show and Platinum MVP team. They are, of course, respecting the guidelines from the CDC with COVID-19 and the Wuhan Chinese virus. So Two Maids and a Mop, the official cleaning partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Give them a call. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. And we also have offers available now. Anybody out there that's thinking, hey, I want to sell my real estate, I want a fast offer, a quick close, we have Keller offers available. It's an instant offer through Keller Mortgage or through Keller Offers. That program will allow you to sell quickly, cash. And we've got other investors as well if something doesn't fit their criteria as well. And real excited to announce we just got featured in Florida Realtor Magazine for I think it's the fifth or sixth time we've just were featured, our team, and they talked about how we are using branding. So branding and creative ways to market and brand yourself. So we talk about the MVP of marketing, and we're real excited about that. And shout out to our team for all their help and everything they do with that. So really excited about that. We appreciate everybody who calls in. Lots of callers reaching out, wanting to know how much is my property worth. I'm listing a condo. I'm listing a single family home, and I want to find out what the value is. We can help you with a value check. There's a lot of ways that we can help you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Let's make our introductions. Doug Levi back on the show here. Strategic Insurance, TampaBayInsurance.com. Welcome back, sir.
Brandon, always good to be with you guys. How's everybody doing today? We're excited to be here.
Yes, sir. Doing well. You also have your insurance side, hustling.com, and a wealth of information with all things, insurance. We're going to talk about flood today on the show. Lots of misnomers out there around flood insurance as well.
Yeah, no doubt. We're going to talk about what consumers need to look at even when they're just making an offer or looking for real estate at any level, and how to understand their flood zone, and even the difference between that and evacuation zones, which are common misconceptions. So we'll talk through that today.
Excellent. Yeah, great time to get a review as well. Check up, your policy, find out what's in there. What are you paying for, and maybe find some holes in your boat. You're rowing that boat down the creek, and you got holes in that boat. Let's plug them for you today here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, attorney Jason Kobal Law on the phones here. Jason, how you doing today, sir?
Great, Brandon. Always a pleasure. Looking forward to talking about some law changes going on during the coronavirus. Got some issues with unemployment, credit reporting, and workers' comp, and always a pleasure.
Yeah, unemployment seems to be, I'm hearing from some business owners and some businesses, especially in the hospitality food industry, where, the unemployment's so high now, they raised it to where they're giving a lot of money away. Some people are saying, hey, we can't get our workers back.
Oh, I tell you what, I think they opened a can of worms. I don't know if I ever told you, but my first job out of law school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was an unemployment judge for the first year and a half out of law school. Didn't really know anything about anything, but I was deciding people's unemployment for the first year and a half. But I learned a lot on the job. But at any rate, I think when they opened it up to where they're giving unemployment to independent contractors, they really opened a can of worms, because you got a lot of people that do the Uber and the Lyft, and a lot of independent contractors out there. And I think they underestimated just how much money that was going to be. And I have a relative who lost her job, and she hasn't gotten her first check. It's been almost a month. So it's the system's a mess. It's backed up, and it's tough.
A lot of people were complaining. I ordered a steak pickup from a restaurant, and they said the same thing. Not one person in their entire restaurant was able to take advantage of the unemployment. So people are getting upset. They're frustrated, and so we'll dive deeper in that with attorney Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, one of our on-air contributors, legal analyst that is as well. Doug Levi. Let's bring Doug Levi back here, the Consumer Quarterback Show here. Now, Doug is a expert in the area of insurance, all things insurance, property casualty, different types of insurance as well, Doug. And we appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Always glad to be here, Brandon. And just, want to put some positive vibes out there. It's good to see that things are settling down a little bit. And I think the country's ready to get back to work. I know we've been here the whole time with our doors open, helping lots of clients. And, couple things just to talk about that's so hot in the news, and Jason was just talking about a little bit, but our restaurant friends that are out there that own restaurants or delis or anything in that space, we'd love to talk to you. We'd love to do a review. One of the things that not everyone is aware of, that maybe a restaurant owner or in that space or has friends or families there, is a lot of times your insurance is based on your projected sales. So if I started my policy and I projected revenue of, let's say, $1 million, and now that's going to change based on COVID-19, you may be overpaying for your insurance. So we'd love to just throw out, and we're doing our $27 Amazon gift card offer. Just looking to be a force for good, and that's just an opportunity to review your policy, see if we can put you in a better spot. Love sharing success stories. We just helped a restaurant owner locally, saved them 50%, cut their insurance costs in half, just by updating and talking about this very thing, adjusting their revenue right now so that they're not paying more for insurance than they need to be.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And you think about how this has really changed things. We were sitting here mid-March. We had, as a real estate team, we had 25 deals already closed and funded. And I forgot the specific date of March that it was. And we're sitting here projecting out, wow, we're going to have a nice year, over 100 deals closed. That's great for all of our referral partners. And then, of course, COVID-19 came into play. And I was also listening to a Tony Robbins podcast, and they hit it right on the head. He was talking with Peter Diamandis and another doctor that was on there, and just the over exuberance to call this thing a deadly virus and cause the rush, in the very beginning, kind of analyzing what happened, the rush for people coming into the hospitals, flooding the hospitals, that caused a lot of what we're experiencing now with the a lot of the the furloughs and the people not being able to work, Doug.
Absolutely, yeah. So really, it's so true. And again, I know all the show partners care about the community. They wouldn't be doing this if they didn't. But, for our part, anyone that's out there in the insurance space, and that can also be contractors, restaurants, there's a lot of different classes of businesses where your insurance premium is based on what your projected revenue is. And you may have given that number, by the way, years ago when you first started your policy, and it's just renewed year after year. And, maybe you haven't had an agent that's been as proactive or been as in touch with you as much. And you very well could be overpaying based on if revenues are down now. So again, we're always happy to do the insurance review. People can check out our website, tampabayinsurance.com. You can fill their info right out there for our gift card offer. And we'd love to see what we can do to help people out.
$27 Amazon gift card challenge. Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, $27. You can probably buy a few rolls of toilet paper with that.
There you go, man. You can find the toilet paper out there. It's something. Get yourself a gift card on, maybe go get some takeout or something somewhere. So, yeah. And then the other thing, Brandon, you kind of, we were teeing up a little bit before the show and even in the intro, is just flood insurance. So, and it is good. Hopefully we're seeing some people starting to look at homes again and realizing this isn't as, desperate as maybe the first original predictions were. But
right.
A lot of times here in the greater Tampa Bay area, people are looking at homeowners and they right away want to know not only their homeowners costs, but their flood insurance costs. So I want to just high level, just go over that real quick. So in general, If you're in a flood zone and you've got a good elevation, I'll talk about that in a second. Costs are normally maybe anywhere from $750 to maybe $1,500 a year. And this is me doing literally hundreds, if not thousands of policies over my 15-year career. You certainly see extremes where people maybe have an older home at a really bad elevation and, you know, they've got a very high cost, but that's probably a good range if you're in a flood zone. The other big takeaway, if you're not in a flood zone, you know, I still tell people we're surrounded by water on 3 sides. We face more hurricanes than any other state in the country, and I don't see a lot of mountains around here. We're pretty flat, so we really recommend flood insurance to people even if you're not in a flood zone. About a third, about 30% of all floods occur in non-flood zones, and those policies run about $200 to $500 a year depending on your coverage. So definitely a good idea to look at that, making sure you're working with trusted advisors like Brandon as well. And always happy, again, if you're looking at a property and you want to know more about your flood insurance and your flood insurance options, we can even run a determination and let you know for sure, are you in a flood zone? And if so, what some of the anticipated costs would look like.
Yeah, that's a great point. I've got a lot of vacant land listings, you know, single family homes. I've got commercial listings, and I get calls on vacant land a lot, and they say, well, what's the flood insurance? How, you know, so that's it. So you're saying between $750 to $1,500 is a pretty safe estimation. Of course, there's going to be some variations depending on what you build.
Yeah, and it definitely, you know, for your traditional single family home in the greater Tampa Bay area, that's probably a pretty safe range.
Right. Awesome. Well, hey, some good stuff there. Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance. Check them out online. Insurance Side Hustling is another business where if you're thinking about, hey, I need a secondary income, I want to take up potentially, you know, learn that industry. He can teach you that as well. TampaBayInsurance.com. More from Doug coming up in our lightning round. Coming up next, Attorney Jason Kobal Law, going to talk about some of the recent changes to laws, unemployment as well, things happening in the legal side of business dealings here in Tampa Bay. Also, our feel-good story of the day. Publix is buying excess milk and produce from farmers and donating it to food banks. We'll be right back after this brief message. Stay with us.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
But this is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it is Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with Danzo Star.
The 62 Who Knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill. But actually, it's our 39th week of 62 Who Knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yep. Woo! Can't remember. Ask an attorney about Florida law.
Yes.
To be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business card database.
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections for
Backles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left hand white, and then they catch the left hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
As your super connector, we want to introduce you to our 50-plus show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to.
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, you know, we're one of the only states that don't give them back the right. We've got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step image. I love that name because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. And even as Sisters Connected here, you know, with Women Unscripted, I know
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. My wife, Lindsay, and I own and operate a top team here in the area, actually out of the #1 office for the entire Mid-Florida Regional MLS, the Tri-County area here. The office did $630+ million in volume last year. Our team did over $20 million. So if you want to be in good hands when it comes to buying, selling, or investing, we would love to talk to you. And we actually feature our listings live on air on our syndicated radio and TV show. Got a couple of hot ones that we just listed here in Tampa Bay. We've got 520 George Street, which is on the lake. It's on Lake Tarpon here in Palm Harbor, Tarpon Springs area. 520 George Street South, Tarpon Springs. Beautiful property. Bring your boat, bring your jet skis, fishing. Great opportunity to own a property. Also have an income producing mother-in-law suite right here on the lake in Lake Tarpon. 2,500 acre lake here in Tampa Bay. Reach out to the team. We'd love to talk to you about that one. Also, check out 14527 Potterton. This is a property that is just listed as well, Potterton Circle in Hudson. This one is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property, wonderful home. Ownership pride definitely shines through in a gated community as well. Beautiful properties. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. You can see all of our listings there at platinummvpteam.kw.com. We would love to talk to you, of course, buying, selling, or investing. We have instant offers available through Keller Offers as well. So that's a quick cash close where we can help you with that. This segment's brought to you by Replenish IV Solutions. They are making house calls, so they will bring a vitamin infusion drip to your home and set you up with different types of, they got the Myers cocktail. They've got all types of different revitalizing, the refresher. Now, these are vitamins, minerals, electrolytes going right into your bloodstream. Replenish IV Solutions. Say hello to Stephen and Lisa Gunnan. They are the owners. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Look them up online. Find them on Facebook. Replenish IV Solutions. The science of nutritional balance. All right, let's jump right into it. We've got attorney Jason Kobal here, Kobal Law, and he is a contributor legal analyst on our show. And I love when we bring Jason on the show because he's very diligent at keeping up with some of the laws, some of the recent changes. And Jason, you were saying there are some recent changes now due to the Wuhan coronavirus.
Yep. I would like to follow up on what I was saying about the unemployment with some good news. Because when I was in unemployment, they call it referee, but I considered myself a judge because I decided people's cases. But at any rate, I'd hold 8 hearings a day, and there was a legal standard that applied way back then, 20 years ago, that still applies today. That's relevant to what's going on. If you applied and you haven't heard anything, and it's been a month, like my relative, don't freak out. As long as you're doing what you are supposed to do, it's a sequential process. From step 1, you apply, and then I'll tell you, what the next step is, whether it's claiming your weeks or whatever you're on, wherever you're at in the process. Just make sure that you're staying on it. You're doing what you have to do. And if you haven't heard anything in a week, send an email. Make sure it's something in writing or even a fax or however you can communicate where there's a paper trail. You just don't want to sit on your hands and do nothing. But don't freak out if you're not getting your money. You'll get it. Because I've had a lot of hearings where there was a computer malfunction or something went wrong on the state side. And as long as the unemployed person did what they were required to do, they get the back pay, they get the money, no matter how long the mess up, stalled their pay. So you're going to get your money as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do. And it's very important right now because it used to be $275 a week.
Yeah.
But now it's $875 a week. That's a big difference. That's a lot of money, especially looking at a month. You're talking about a couple grand. So don't give up hope. You're going to get your money eventually. You just got to stick with it and show them that you're active. And I'd send at least something in writing once a week.
$875 a week. It seems like the taxpayers, especially middle-income earners, are going to be paying a lot of that on the back end of this, Jason.
Oh, I agree. Especially, like I said, I don't know. I trust our congressmen and women, but I hope they evaluated just how many people are independent contractors as far as the quantity, the number of people, and also, how much money we're talking about because, man, that's a lot. I mean, that was a national, that was in the bill that they wanted that done for all the states had to add 600 to their unemployment and include independent contractors. Well, that's a lot, and the state's going to bear the burden, and as well as the federal government out of that bill. So, I mean, in the end, that's going to be the taxpayers.
That's
so
scary.
It's
It's so scary. A lot of people I'm talking to are saying that's a big step towards socialism.
I agree. It's very scary, and that's why I'm very happy that we're getting out of this, and we're getting back to normal, because relying on the government that much is just a little too much for me.
Yeah, I just hope it's temporary. They cut that stuff off as soon as we can. If you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with attorney Jason Kobal here. He's the owner of Kobal Law, calling into the show here, updating us on things happening. What other law changes are you seeing, Jason?
Well, I want to make a correction. I think a month ago, the last time I was on, and at that time they were talking about putting into the relief bill that companies cannot report negative credit reports to the credit bureaus. Okay. And they didn't put that in. But what they're doing now is Congressman Brown is urging companies not to report to the credit bureaus during the coronavirus. But that's not a law. It wasn't in the bill. So, there's no ramifications if they don't listen to that suggestion. So I just wanted to clarify that, because at the time they were talking about it and I wasn't sure if they were going to put it in. They ended up not putting it in. But what they did recently pass into law, this is minor, but it's good to know. At any point, you could ask, if you see something on your credit report that you don't know what it is, you could demand an investigation where they normally would have 30 days where the company who submitted it to the credit bureau has to do an investigation and explain to you what exactly it is. That's been extended to 45 days. So they have longer time to do those. And if you ask for that and they don't do it by the deadline, that's actually a violation of your rights, and you get up to $1,000 for that. So if that happens to you, give me a call. But they did extend it from 30 days to 45, and that was another change.
Okay. All right. And then, so when you think about things, happening right now, you had mentioned earlier that car accidents are down. You practice personal injury law, but it seems like there might be somewhat of an uptick now.
I don't know if it was luck or if it's an uptick, but I like you said, just looking around and during the break, it seems like there's more cars on the road, and I know that we're all hungry to get back to work, and slowly but surely, the beaches are opening here and there. More cars are on the road, but I've had an uptick recently. And I also wanted to mention something about just car accidents in general. If you get into a car accident and you're hit by any kind of commercial vehicle, that is completely different than if you're hit by just a regular person. The policies are always $1 million or more. So, I mean, if you get in an accident and you're hit by, say, some truck, a Coke truck or whatever the business is, and you're hurt at all, just imagine that as being like the best form of insurance you've ever had. You'll be able to get medical care, any medical care that you possibly think of. It'll be completely paid for. So if the other side's at fault and you were hit by a commercial vehicle, give me a call. Those are the best cases, and sky's the limit on what you could get. And it's sad that it's like that, but that's how our system is. You could have somebody who is not at fault, the other side's at fault. Their life is ruined, they're paralyzed, or whatever the case may be, terrible injuries. And if the other side has the legal minimum and you don't have guess what? You get nothing. So,
right.
Who hits you matters a lot.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with attorney Jason Kobal. He's the owner of Kobal Law. And, of course, you want to reach out to our hotline. We'll put you right in touch with him. Anything that you see happening out there related to workers' comp, injury law, car accidents, we'd have you reach out to 813-670-7372. That's our hotline, 813-670-7372. Also, Doug Levi, you heard from him in the first segment, offering that insurance review. I think it's a great idea to do that, especially if you're a business owner and you have projected revenues that you're not meeting. There's some opportunity there. 813-670-7372. So, Jason, what else are you seeing? I mean, it just seems like a time where we're kind of rewriting a lot of the rules. Businesses are down. People are looking for ways to reach out and get some of the government money that are, it seems like they're handing out money in record, record.
You said it.
It's unbelievable.
I just had personal experience for my firm. We took advantage of the PPP situation, and with that, and it's amazing what's happening. Though there's some companies that I think are taking advantage of that, and I hope that comes to an end. And of course, there's always going to be fraud. But this was the payroll protection program, and it was really cool. I mean, if you have under 500 employees, and there's a couple requirements. It's only supposed to be for small businesses, but you could get 2.5 times what you spend on your payroll, and they front it to you. And then if you just use that on your payroll to pay your employees, you don't have to pay it back. So it's really cool. So I took advantage of that because we qualified. But what's been in the news recently, I just read the other day, the Lakers got like $3.8 million approved. That shouldn't have happened. They paid the money back.
The basketball team?
But yes.
Wow.
And the reason why it should have happened is because they should have never applied. There's limits. You can read the rules, and I guarantee you they eclipse them. But then also there's supposed to be a safeguard. The banks are supposed to also, you have to go through a bank, a qualified bank. And if they see somebody that shouldn't be getting it, and it's not just the number of employees, they also look at the revenues.
Right.
And the Lakers, they make a lot of money.
Right.
There's no way they should have got that money, and they're giving it back. And the government has given companies the opportunity to give money back if you got it and shouldn't have. And they're playing it as, we want to give it to the people who need it, but they should have never got it, in my opinion, to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just goes to show when people are giving out money, there's going to be fraud, and people are going to try to take advantage of it, which is why I'm not a fan of socialism.
Yeah, and those are just the ones that got caught. You know, how many of them slipped through, didn't get caught? How many deaths were misclassified as COVID when there was really a cancer or something that was underlying? We're going to hear a lot more about those types of things coming out. More from attorney Jason Kobal. We got Doug Levi as well coming up in our lightning round. And up next, we got Dan Menikheim, Pro Health Pest Control here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, our feel-good story of the day is a good one. This is from a local business right here in Lakeland. Corporately, Publix is out in Lakeland, but they're buying excess milk and produce from farmers and donating it to food banks. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out consumerqb.com.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
This is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it is Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with D'Angelo Star.
62 who knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill, but actually it's our 39th week. 62 who knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember anymore. Ask me about
To be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards and made
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections
Ian
for
Beckles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left hand white, and then they catch the left hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
As your super connector, we want to introduce you to our 50+ show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to.
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back the right. Got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step image. I love that name because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. And even as
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'd love for you to follow us online, and we'll follow you back so we can reach out and see each other's stories and stuff online. And it's facebook.com. We've got the Consumer Quarterback Show page there, Platinum MVP Team, and also Instagram and Twitter at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter. Also started a TikTok account, one of the newer social media platforms. But LinkedIn, of course, Brandon Rhymes PA on LinkedIn. We'd love to connect with you online as well. Any business owners out there, we'd love to talk to you and see how we might be able to support your business during these troubled times as well with this Wuhan virus here that we're all kind of sorting through. Again, a big shout out to all of our medical professions, first responders, those folks out there. You save, you serve as well in the military. Anybody out there looking to do any kind of business in the real estate, buying, selling, or investing, we would love to talk to you. Brandon Rhymes here, owner of the Platinum MVP Team, Keller Williams Realty, recently featured again this month for Florida Realtor Magazine. Real excited about that. Just came out, just saw the first copy. MVP of marketing, and talking about ways that we're branding and differentiating when it comes to branding through our real estate business and the radio and TV show platform with Keller Williams. Keller offers as well. We got instant cash offers available if anybody wants to sell quickly, close within a matter of days through Keller Williams cash offers as well. So just sending out those positive vibes as we mentioned here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Want to help everybody with anything that they're facing. We've got 80 categories, show partners, ways that we can help you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And so we'd love for you to reach out to our hotline, 813-670-7372. Anything on that financial, that business, that real estate wheel. We want to be, think of the expert contributors as our spokes sending out, representing, one of our preferred partners, our expert contributors that can help you when it comes to all types of home services, health, nutrition, insurances. Ways that we can help you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show are seem like they're endless. Lots of ways that we can connect you with attorneys, CPAs, financial advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. A couple of hot listings here. We've got 422 Wildwood Way. This one is in BELLEAIR. Gorgeous property, just listed about a week ago. BELLEAIR property surrounded by excellent golfing. You've got the water and the beaches right around the corner as well. 2-story, beautiful home. The owner put $130,000 into recent renovations and updates. A beautiful property in BELLEAIR, Florida. Check out that property listing as well. We've got 7171 Millstone Street in Spring Hill. This one's just listed as well. We're still waiting on the professional photography to come back. But this is a large home, corner lot, great floor plan, split floor plan with 2 master bedrooms. It's a family home with lots of opportunity here. 4 bedrooms, 4 bath, 7171 Millstone Street in Spring Hill. Just listed. Again, waiting on for Brave Frameworks to get us that professional photography back. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. platinummvpteam.kw.com. Big shout out to Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. It's Brothers Easy Moving, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, they are a first-class organization. They did a great job moving my family to our new lake house, and I would love for you to reach out to them. Give Gary Thacker a call. Let him know that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take him up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you are a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to Brothers Easy Moving and let them know you heard about us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, with Dan Menikheim, Pro Health Pest Control here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And Dan, you were telling me in our off-air conversation, this is termite season. Termite season is here.
Yeah, it's drywood termite season where people who get them will see swarms in their house. The season, you can get them any time of the year, but the season really starts May and it goes through June and July. That's where the termites swarm the most, where you're going to see the most swarms.
May, June, and July. That's the peak season. And termites, people don't realize that most homes actually have termites. If there's wood in there, there's wood in the rafters, in different parts of the property that has wood. These termites are there, and people don't realize, and they cause a lot of damage behind the scenes.
Yeah, people don't really notice them as much until they start getting affected like it. All of a sudden they go out to their kitchen and their stove is full of termites. That happened to my brother last week. So he didn't know he had termites until he had them.
Right, and the termites can cause more damage, I've heard it said, than wind, fire, flood, hurricanes all combined.
Yeah, we're in the perfect climate where it doesn't freeze. We've got a couple types of termites here in the Florida, the South Florida area. Wherever it doesn't freeze, the termite issues are going to be worse than they are in other parts of the country.
Right, and when you look at Pro Health Pest Control, what other services do you offer that our listening audience might want to take you up on?
Well, specifically talking about termites, we have this new technology that we use. We created a misting machine. There's a product. It's a boret-based product, which it adheres to the wood. And per the manufacturer of this product, it has a residual for 99 years, but it can be painted on. Some new home construction sometimes will go out and paint it on it, but it was really difficult in the past to get up in the attic and get down in those cracks and crevices areas, or even in the crawl space. We just built a custom machine that'll mist it, so we can service the attic area and the crawl space area. And it actually, the product is actually safer, faster, and less expensive than the termite tent treatments.
Gotcha. So that's traditional. What you hear is people say, "Oh, we've got to tent the property." What's the difference there between tenting and some of the other treatments that you described?
Yeah, well, in the past, there was two types of treatments: tent fumigation, or what we call a spot treat, where you kind of spot where you see the colony coming off. Both of those are effective, but they are limited. The tent fumigation, which is the best method to do if you want to eliminate 100% of the termites, the best method is to tent your home. But in today's world, that could be expensive. You have to move out of the house for 3 days. You got to move all your plants and product, and in today's that can be challenging. So then we came up with this new method. And the tents complication is what you do is you, like, say you have a single family home and you put a tent over it, you move out for a few days. And what we do, and we do fumigation too. We have all the options. And you go in and you put in a gas. The gas it has no residual to it. It doesn't affect anything. It just goes in and removes the oxygen for a few days, and then the bugs can't breathe oxygen, and the termites will then die within a couple of days, and you'll kill all the termites, and that's great. But as soon as you remove the tent, they can come back. So that's the limitations of what's going on there. But in a lot of homes, you have to. A lot of homes may need a tent over this alternative method, and certainly if you've had it done before and you trust, your termite guy, and it needs a tent, that can be the best option. It really can.
Yeah, if you just joined us, we're talking with Dan Menikheim here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Pro Health Pest Control, and we're talking about things happening, throughout the real estate world. And I've seen these baby ants, these little small ants popping up all over the place, Dan. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. How do you treat those? What's the best solution for those? It seems like they're baby ants.
Yeah, they're baby ants. They're either ghost ants, thief ants. There's a variety of them, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's even hard as a professional to determine which ones they are without putting them under a microscope. Some of them look a lot alike. They're very similar. Some of them can be very similar, but most of the time, those ants, they can live in the walls, but a lot of times they could be on the property, and they can be coming in from outside and going in where there's food, getting the food, and then going back outside to where their colony is. So there's methods of treating. One, try to find the colony if it's outside and treat it there. Go directly to the source. The other way is to actually bait it. We actually bait they eat the food, they bring it, and it's a slow kill. They'll bring it back to the nest, and it'll kill the whole colony. So there's a few methods in order to treat for ants, but keeping up a quarterly pest control is your best method to avoiding having a bunch of ants in your home.
Yeah, talk to us about that. You guys have a plan where people can get put on a follow-up type plan?
Yeah, we do pest control services throughout the Tampa Bay area, and it's the initial. Like if we did an initial program with you, we come out, we spend a couple hours out there making sure we really control the bugs. We use some baits on the outside that'll draw the ants. We'll go into the outlets, do some dusting in there, and if there's an issue, we'll handle the issue however we can when we're at the house. And then, in order to maintain that program, we'll come out and we'll do a quarterly pest control where we come out and service the property. Our products tend to last about 3 months. So every 3 months we come out and retreat to make sure your home doesn't have any pest in it.
Very good. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Just put it on the system, set it and forget it. Make sure you're keeping those. Your real estate is an investment you want to protect, and that's what Dan and his team are going to allow you to do. Pro Health Pest Control right here in Tampa Bay. Friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show, taking care of termites, ants, mosquitoes, and a lot of those pesky nuisance type insects and those types of things here in Tampa Bay. Pro Health Pest Control. Check them out online. They've got a great offer as well to show listeners as well. Pro Health Pest Control, Dan Menikheim here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And more from Dan coming up in our lightning round. And when we come back, we're going to talk about this feel-good story of the day. We've got more from attorney Jason Kobal as well, Kobal Law, Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance here on the Consumer Quarterback Show coming up in our lightning round. Now, our lightning round is top tips, parting words of wisdom, nuggets of advice here from our expert contributors, kind of up-to-date things happening here in Tampa Bay, as well as Publix, locally headquartered out of Lakeland, monster company here in Tampa Bay, big company, buying excess milk and produce from farmers and donating it to food banks. So feel good story of the day coming at you, and more from our expert contributors right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out consumerqb.com. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter. We'll be right back. And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. A couple of hot listings here I want to let you know about here in Tampa Bay. Some great opportunities for land, vacant land, developed land opportunities here in Tampa Bay. 4214 Peaceful Lane. This is in Land O'Lakes. It's on a ski lake, a fishing lake. It's Bell Lake right there, 90-acre ski lake in Land O'Lakes. Great opportunity. 8 lots, 5 of which are right on the waterfront. Owners looking for offers for this property, developable land that they can be developed here in Tampa Bay. Also, 516 Alt 19. This is commercial land in Palm Harbor. Another great opportunity to purchase land, build a building. You can put a mixed-use property here. $40,000 worth of plans are included in this. Owners motivated to check out our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Lots of vacant land listings. I got about a dozen other vacant land listings here in Tampa Bay. Great opportunities to build and build your dream here in Tampa Bay. All right, our feel-good story of the day. Publix is buying excess milk and produce from farmers and donating it to food banks. Public Supermarket has launched a new initiative to help struggling farmers and get milk and produce to Americans who need it most. Farmers around the country have been forced to dump milk and waste fresh fresh produce as schools and restaurants remain closed due to the coronavirus. Publix announced in a press release that will purchase fresh produce and milk from farmers impacted by the coronavirus and donate the goods directly to Feeding America food banks. Quote, the initiative will support Florida produce farmers, southeastern dairy farmers, and a growing number of families looking to feed America for fresh fruits, vegetables, and milk during the pandemic. Kicking off the initiative is supposed to run for several weeks, the press release states, and during the first week, 150,000 pounds of produce and more than 43,000 gallons of milk is expected to be donated, the company said. And as a food, here's a quote from Todd Jones, he's a Publix CEO. As a food retailer, we have the unique opportunity to bridge the gap between the needs of families, farmers impacted by the coronavirus pandemic. So pretty cool. Publix has made donations totaling $2 million to help feed America's food banks during the pandemic. So there's a feel-good story of the day. Wow. Awesome. I love it when those local companies step up and do that good like that, Jason.
Oh, man, I tell you, Publix does it right. Their success is not by accident. I've had a number of cases, people get hurt at Publix or whatever against them over the years.
Yep.
And man, they are second to none. I mean, the whole operation is amazing. Even just like their managers, I mean, everybody starts as a bag boy. They hire from within. I mean, they do it right. They really do set the standard.
Yeah, it's a great organization. It seems like they have that, it's our pleasure. It's our, pleasure to shop there. Their slogan, something similar to that. And, it reminds me of one of my first jobs out of school was at the Ritz-Carlton down in Naples at the beach hotel, the spa, 50,000 square foot spa. And it was the Ritz-Carlton. You learn the true meaning of first-class service and how to treat customers and clients through their type of core philosophies.
I have a funny, real quick story about that Ritz-Carlton, that very one. My wife and I said we wanted a quick staycation. We went there with our two little dogs, 7 pounds and 8 pounds, and they were dog friendly, allegedly. By the time we finished dinner, we were kicked out because they wouldn't stop barking. And I don't blame them.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, that's tough.
Anyway.
Yeah, you got to find maybe a local place to park them at and do something like that. All right, we got Dan Menikheim here on the Consumer Quarterback Show as well. Pro Health Pest Control attorney Jason Kobal on the phones as well. And I wanted to go back to Dan for a moment. Dan, it was interesting. We were having a little pre-show dialogue, and we were talking a little bit about living on Lake Tarpon. I found there was an interesting story involving wildlife this week. I was on the boat last week, and I was driving through pretty much the center of Lake Tarpon, and there was a floating gator. There's a gator upside down. Apparently someone had shot the gator. I don't know if they were going to eat it or what, but I guess they went to pull it up, and they found out how heavy it was, and they couldn't do it. So then, Fish and Game kind of pulled it out to the middle of the lake and just left it there, which I thought was odd. I would have thought they would have done something, buried it, or got it out of the ecosystem. So that's one. And then two, they have a setup close to our house where they're baiting gators. They're going to be catching some of the bigger gators, because once they get above 7-8 feet, they can become a nuisance or a threat to the human species.
Yeah, that's I live right around the corner from that place. I was out golfing, and we actually saw a gator practicing social distancing. I want to clarify. We saw a gator actually take a bird right there. It was off. It's a Landsbrook golf course, which right off Lake Tarpon there. That was the greatest shot of the day. I'll tell you that.
Wow! So he actually picked off a bird right there.
Right there, boom! Right there. We were like, "What?
What kind of bird was it?"
Yeah, it was. It was like one of those. It was a egret or something.
Yep.
It was a pretty big bird.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And yeah, well, and it's funny that the wildlife. We are noticing something different, with us, and the rats are acting differently. We're seeing an increase in phone calls to them. I don't know why, but I know that they have major issues at like malls and stuff, and a lot of people eat at the malls. So are they on the move or not on the move? I mean, the representative of what I do in my business is a small portion. I can't confirm anything, but we got an increased movement of rodents. I think they're on the move. I think they're acting differently. There's less people out and about doing stuff, and people are reporting the wildlife is acting differently. So.
Yeah, it makes sense, man. There's a business book called "Who Moved My Cheese," meaning hey, where's the business now? It changed. We had a lot of foreclosures. Now there's business on this other side of the REO business for brokers and people that do the property preservation work. Who moved my cheese? But in this case, it's a literal. The restaurants have shut down, so the rodents they're looking for the next meal, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a guess, right? But why it makes sense to me, because that's the only thing that we figured out. Why the increase?
Yeah.
At this time of year, it's spring break. You take away and look at. It's not just the malls and stuff. You look at all the hotels that are no longer doing business. How many meals are serving out of there where they're no longer?
Right.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Interesting. All right, let's jump into our lightning round here. We're going to ask our expert contributors top tips, parting words of wisdom, and nuggets of advice here in our lightning round. All right. Jason Kobal, attorney Jason Kobal, top tips, parting words of wisdom, sir.
All right. I've got an important one, and it's a side project that I gave myself that I've been doing for 2 years now. You got to watch the media. You got to watch where you're getting your news, and you got to double and triple check stuff. And I don't want to get political, because it happens on both sides. But I tell you, man, that industry needs to raise its bar. The standards are off the chain right now, and there's a lot of political motivations, monetary motivations that are basically superseding worrying about facts and following the truth. So you got to be careful where you're getting your news, and you got to double and triple and check.
Yeah, on that same point, where's the best place to check that? Some people, look at what's shared on Facebook feed, or they'll read a story, maybe even on Instagram or LinkedIn. Where do you go to get your news where it's an actual true source and the facts?
Sadly, I don't think there's any single one you can trust. I think you have to do a lot of digging yourself. Fortunately, with the internet, there's a lot of ways where you can get to the source directly, but you can't even take a reporter's word for it. Because what you hear on a story, you got to check the source yourself, if at all possible.
Right.
And it's a shame, but that's just how it is. And I'm doing a project on it. I'm wrapping it up right now. It's going to be called 5 Years of Fake News. But it's a shame.
Nice.
And it happens on both sides. I'm not picking sides.
Yeah, exactly. Both sides are, at fault for that at times. I agree with you there. And there's actually documentaries that you can see that talk about that and how it's perpetrated in some of these ways that are, definitely less than desirable. All right, Dan Menikheim, Pro Health Pest Control.
Yeah, trust. I've mentioned this before but it brought it back up to me, especially with termite season. If you do have termites, get a second opinion. There's lots of treatments out there. We were at a job. I personally was at a job site the other day. I was the second one there, second opinion. The first one, the lady shared with me, they wanted to fumigate her house for a few $1,000s, and she didn't have the money. I said, well, the only spot that I seen the termites in were the trim boards. I said, well, maybe remove the trim boards, throw them out, and if you get rid of the termites, you got rid of the termites. If not, give us a call. And, our fee was $0. Our bid was $0. Their bid was a few $1,000s. So, just be careful. Get a second opinion. People have to make money, and most pest control companies send out a sales guy. No one like the service people you use and trust.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you, sharing that story. You see that in a lot of different cases. It's commission-based advice, people saying what they want to say to, try to get the big ticket deal or the sale that they can make. And you see it all the time. You see it in real estate, people undervaluing properties in some cases that's going to play to their favor. They're going to undervalue the property and then try to make an offer from an investor friend of theirs or an LLC that they're a part of. I've seen all of that type of scenarios play out over my, 2 decades plus in real estate and mortgage. And, so definitely a great point Dan made there is verify, trust who you're working with, check out reviews. That's why we set this show up to be your hub of your financial, your business, your health wheel, all those spokes he's sending out, representing our preferred partners, our on-air expert contributors. And we want to help you with that. So we'd love for you to reach out. Anything that you heard on the show today, we talked about insurance, car accidents, work comp law. We talked about pest control, termite pest control as well, rodent control here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We would love to connect with you. Reach out to our hotline. We'll put you right in touch with our expert contributors here on the show. 813-670-7372. Call or text that line, 813-670-7372, and also consumerqb.com. And I want to thank our expert contributors, our team, our listeners behind the scenes here as well, putting the show together. And please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time